Hey guys, I've actually been lying to you. You know where I usually film? I just rent out that studio. I'm actually a troll that lives under a bridge. Enjoy this week's video. Boy, those intros get more and more confusing each week, don't they? Well, if you haven't clicked off yet, you might find that this is a Pokemon channel where I like to talk about rare Pokemon cards. More specifically, the most interesting sales I saw this week for rare Pokemon cards. By the way, my name is Matt, and let's get started. La 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 la. And kicking things off, we have a square cut reverse hollow Squirtle from Pokemon 151 Scarlet and Violet. And the error is, I just said, the square cut. So what does that mean? There's 4 square corners here. Boop, 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 boop. And we have an alignment dot in the bottom right corner. Look at that. Now I don't think that's an alignment. That's an alignment dot, I believe. Interesting. Usually it would be on the same corner as the other one, but it's not. This is pretty neat. Square cuts are definitely more prevalent in modern cards, but still kind of sparse. You don't see them too often. And yeah, this one was listed for $95, had a best accepted offer price of $60. Now, average non-error price, $1.74. That gives us 3,348% error value increase, which is good enough for number 10 this week. 3,300 for number 10. We have a lot of cards all within the same kind of percentage values, so it's going to be a very interesting episode. Next up, we have a Big Brain Mega Blastoise EX from XY Evolutions. And that big brain means that it's a top-heavy miscut. Let's take a look. So we have an alignment dot and another portion of a card on the top there, and just, a very thick border in general, enough where we're actually missing all of the card information on the bottom. We see a couple X's here, but that's really all we have for information on the bottom. On the back, we have an alignment dot on the left. Oh, is that like a 16th of an alignment dot on the right? And that consistent miscut too. Very interesting. This is already a cool card and one that is very unique to see have this sort of miscut. There's something very interesting about having the border just be different. Like you can see the exact stopping point and where the other card kind of picks up. Very cool to see. Listed for $200, sold for $160, and an EVI of 1,000%. Next up, we have a first edition Blaine's Charmander with a water obstruction error. Now, one thing I found interesting about this is there was another Blaine's Charmander, and if I can find the photo, I'll put it on the screen here, that had a water obstruction in the upper right corner as well. I've seen this story online before where a lady said she was walking her dog, and one time the dog found a hamburger behind a bush. And so every time they go for a walk, the dog has to check behind the hamburger bush to see if there is some food there. That's how I feel about when I see an error for the first time. When I saw the first Blaine's Charmander with the water obstruction, every time I see one now, I look up in the top right corner to see if there's a water obstruction. And yeah, I just think it's funny. We're not too different from dogs, are we? They're just better than us in every way, though. They're wonderful creatures. Back to the card, Matt. So yes, water obstruction. I love the errors on fire-type Pokemon where just the contrast that really is given with it is very unique and very interesting. You can see it obstructs the H, the P, and a little bit of the fire symbol there. Now, not a crazy sale. This sold for around $25 and had an EVI of 265%, but I just thought it was interesting that I've seen another Blaine's Charmander with this similar error. The other one was more severe. Play the music. Next up, we have a first edition Totodile from Neo Genesis, and this is a fat bottom miscut. That's why we're playing that music. Look at that big yellow right there, and consistent. No alignment dot though. Again, I know it's pretty cut and dry, whether an alignment dot is showing or not just shows the orientation of the card. It always surprises me where we have that fat of a bottom with no alignment dot. Just kind of interesting. Now this one sold for a lot. Listed for $248, not sure why that specific number, but it's sold for that exact amount. Dang. And with an average non-error price of $4.15, that gives us a 5,876% error value increase. And that's good enough for number 3 this week. I don't like saying cards aren't worth what they sold for because obviously the buyers kind of create the market, but This seems like an overhyped sale a little bit. Again, someone with shallow pockets critiquing someone with the money to buy a card like this, not a good look. So I'll stay over here not buying cards. They can go about their business purchasing these awesome cards. Next up, we have a base set Ninetales with an obstruction error. Sold in auction for $195. Now let's take a look. Look at this. So there was an obstruction that obstructed the E and the S. So it looks like probably a printer hickey, a decent sized one, enough to impact 2 letters on Ninetales' name. So it's a Ninetale error, and a very unique one. I always say that printer hickeys kind of increase in value depending on where they are on the card. You know, you see some printer hickeys on the Pokemon itself really raises the price up, and then obviously ones that impact the name too will also sell for a lot. So that's why this sold for gosh darn near $200. How's the condition of the card? That's pretty good actually. So this could grade pretty well. They need to charge their phone. That's all right though. Yeah, one I have not seen before, and yeah, that's pretty amazing. Average non-error price for this bad boy, 14 bucks. We got 1300% error value increase, or what would we say, $180 of value added to this card. Next up, we have a base set Hitmonchan with a blurry alignment error. Listed for $150, sold for $91. Now, what is this blurry alignment? Look at this. It's almost like a 3D effect. I think the black layer, the black ink layer, got shifted over to the left a little bit. You can see where it should be, and it kind of gives this 3D blurry effect. And Rookie Bob was generous enough to have a non-error and an error. So kind of doing my job for me, but that's okay. I will let it slide for now. If you start making videos on the same topic, we might have a problem though. So yeah, neat one. I say this a lot, and that's kind of the fun part about error cards, is one I've never seen before. And I hope I continue to keep saying that because it makes it interesting. So yeah, $81 of value added to this card, and 810% EVI. Card's in good shape too. No, I always say that before I click into it. We got some whitening, but again, shows the severity of the error that it can add that much despite the condition of the card. Next up, we have a Shadowless Ninetales with the no damage error. Listed for $700, sold for $700. Now, why is this so expensive? Well, the 80 right here is missing. A repeating error, so this has happened on several different cards. Repeating errors usually sell for more, and yeah, you just see this one sell for a lot always. And we can take a look at pricing too in a second. We have non-error pricing and error pricing, which is kind of why I believe this card sold for as much as it did. So, condition of the card, I click and then I say, besides for here and around here, not too bad. What do we say? 8? 7? Grade 7, grade 8? With that in mind, let's take a look at pricing here. So average non-error price to start, $30. So an EVI of 2300%. Not top 10, but still very incredible. Now we have error pricing for no damage Ninetales. Grade 7 goes for $750. Grade 8, we don't know. There is not one documented. But grade 9 goes for $7,700. So this can be thought of a little bit of a gamble, I would say. You know, if you want to no damage Ninetales, that's great. But if you want one that has an option to maybe be worth 10 times what you paid, then you take the risk and you spend $700 on it. And I wonder too, you know, there's some people that can actually like clean the Pokemon cards and kind of prep them up before they get submitted for grading. This one might be a good candidate for that. Who knows? But yes, $670 of value added to this card and 2300% EVI, which is not top 10. Back to the dog hamburger story. One place I always look on the first edition Eevee is right on the first edition symbol, because sometimes you get an obstruction or a printer hickey that is right on there, which is a repeating error, and it helps it sell for a lot. This PSA 8.5 first edition Eevee from Jungle Set sold for $355 thanks to this little dot there. Now this is a repeating printer hickey, but it actually ranges very slightly in where it was placed, and sometimes it's known as the D error because it's on the bottom of the first edition stamp there. So always one to look out for, and it's sold in auction for $355. And EVI of around 900%, which is pretty darn good for this. Next up, we have a Ditto V from Shining Fates, and this is a misalignment error, a top-heavy misalignment error, sold in auction for $78. This is what we're talking about. 3% of another card. I don't know, I'm always so bad at gauging that. Maybe 2%? Someone, if you want to do the math, you know, take a screenshot, measure out the distances, let me know. But we can see the portion down here is actually cut off a little bit. And I say misalignment and not miscut because the back is perfectly centered. So unique one. Average down air price is around $4. So we're 3 percentage points off from $17.38. And that's all we gotta talk about. Cool card though. I always like to talk about culture on this show. And you see we have someone with culture, $69.99. But then there's some people without culture. Best accepted offer price, $62.99. What is this card? It's an Energy Search Trainer card from Pokemon Black and White. Got a CGC 4, so not the best, but inverted back. Boy, that's beat up. That's a CGC 4? I thought that'd be worse. Is there any better picture? Yeah, that's not in good shape at all, but really, really miraculous error, I would say. And yeah, so basically how this happens is whoever the worker was, the bozo, basically flipped the sheet upside down, and the orientation of it was such where it got cut, the back is completely messed up, and the front looks completely normal. And that's how you get a $63 sale for this. Now, look at pricing. We have ungraded, you know, we have a grade 8 for this card. So a grade 4, boy, I said $2. I think that's being generous too. This is one where, yeah, if it's a grade 8, that's like starting to increase the price a little bit. So anything below that really will be worth just about nothing. So with that, we have a 3,050% error value increase, which is good enough for, were you paying attention? No, because that was lower than the number 10 slot, so not in the top 10. We love those inverted backs though, keep them coming. Hey, we're a little bit into the video now. If you're still watching, why don't you give me a like? I would really appreciate that, and subscribe if you haven't. I'm a YouTube purist, and if I watch a video all the way through, or even just a couple minutes in and I enjoy it, or it's someone I watch regularly, I always give a like, because it is a free way to support the people that I watch, and I know it kind of makes a difference. So I liked being liked, and let's talk about this Pikachu. First edition, Ghost Stamp Pikachu. PSA 9, Ghost Stamp Pikachu. In auction, $1,355. I always forget what Z and G starts their bidding at. 99 cents, dang. That's awesome. I don't have the clout to do that. I've tried it and it never sells for as much as I want. Ghost Stamp. So the D and the 1, completely missing. Everything else is just kind of the outline of the letters, and so that's why it's called the Ghost Stamp. A very unique repeating error that helps it sell for a lot. You can see this added around $1,000 of value. Now, average non-error price is still high because it is a first edition Yellow Cheeks Pikachu from base set. And so with that, EVI will never be crazy, but yeah, that's definitely just a lot of money though. And we can see average error pricing is $750 for this, typically. So this went for $600 more than that. That's a big jump. Now, sometimes this error pricing can be a little bit dated, but still, that is a lot of money for a Pokemon card. And obviously, it's gosh darn near perfect. Next up, we have an Eevee VMAX with a cut and crimp error, and that's a severe cut and crimp error. Sold in auction for $32. Now, what's happening here? So the crimping machine basically crimps the plastic that the packs are made out of. Sometimes that gets misaligned. These hand gestures say nothing for what I'm talking about. They get misaligned, and it'll basically crimp the card. And if it's severe enough, it'll actually cut and crimp the card. And this actually might be a promo card, so it might just be in that clear plastic. And that's how we get this, and it adds quite a bit of value. Severe one too. Look at those indentations. I think that's consistently across. It's not like skewed up or down one way. And cut off decent portion of the card, so that's cool. And added around $28 of value to the card. Next up, we have a buyer with some class. We have another no damage Ninetales, listed for $750, sold for $690. Nice. You know the spiel. Same dealio here, same error. No 80. Now let's see what the condition of the card is though. So Could be thought of as a little bit worse here, but, you know, as we just saw with that first edition Pikachu, that Ghost Stamp, pricing could be higher than it says here because price charting can be a little bit behind the times for accurately, portraying the prices. And so this could be worth what they paid, if not more, in the condition that it is in, with the grade it might get. An EVI of 2,265%. It's been a while since I've snapped my fingers. I wonder if something else is going to pop up soon. Speak of the devil. Here we go. Next up, we have a Raichu from XY Evolutions with a Hollow Bleed. And I love these Hollow Bleeds. Basically where the hollow should be just in this portion, the hollow box, but it's actually outside of there. Is that a hollow shift too? Slightly. You don't see hollow shifts too often with XY Evolutions. You see the Hollow Bleeds all the time though. And boy, is it severe. Look at that. Oh, this is due to an insufficient ink error, and I'm pretty sure if it's from XY Evolutions and it's severe enough, CGC will actually give you that insufficient ink error. Card's in good shape too, nice. That's why it sold for $144.50, even though the average non-error price is $2.61. These are fun because there's just such a big difference between sale price and non-error price for this, because this is kind of considered a modern set, so like you get a hollow from it, it's not really that big of a deal, but you get an error hollow from it, it's a big deal. EVI of 5,436% is good enough for number 4 this week. Ask and I shall receive, right? I say nothing's popped up for a while, here you go. Another Pikachu. This one's crazy, I remember this now. Okay. Listed for 1,000, sold for 1,000. First edition Eevee Pikachu. Error is this first edition stamp should not be there. Is a grade 6. Sold for $1,000. Let's look at error pricing right away. Average error price, $310 for a grade 6. Around $700 of value added over the error price that it's supposed to sell for. So someone kind of, someone got away with a lot here. Congrats to the seller, that's a lot of money, dang. Now average non-error price for this bad boy, without the first edition stamp, is $15.35 for a grade 6. That gives us a 6,415% error value increase, which is good enough for number 2 this week. That's a shocking sale, that really is. That's like that sold for more than the grade 9.5. Boy, I think this is definitely going to be an outlier. I don't think the market's trending that upward. Who's to say though? We'll see. Okay, usually when I talk about double hollow variants from Neo Revelation, it's because they are a crazy high sale price, you know, grade 9, their first edition, selling for thousands of dollars. The reason why I'm talking about this is it was listed for $222.22. I have a rolling thing where I ask my viewers to either buy or sell a card ending in 22, and I'll know you watched the show. This could be a complete coincidence, but Mr. Bids 23, if you are watching, comment below. I will send you an error card for free. Several other people have played, along with this rule, but they never comment. I need you to comment. Now, with that in mind, a non-viewer purchased it and purchased it for $200. So again, it could be a complete coincidence, but let's take a look at the cards. So we have a nice swirl there. And how you are able to tell Houndoom is a double hollow variant, look around here. There's no white border. There's a white border around here. You can see a little bit of white. That's okay. But it's not as thick of a white border, kind of all around here. And there's a little more hollow around the lower part of it. That's how you tell it's a double hollow. What's the condition of the card? Not too bad, actually. Really not too bad. So again, not a groundbreaking sale. Added about $100 of value to the card. But we might have a viewer who sold this. We'll see. Heck, I'll even pin the comment, Mr. Bids 23, if you are watching. Next up, we have a Sylveon V from Evolving Skies, and this is a top-heavy miscut. Pretty... okay, math. 10% of another card. And it actually looks like a... see, here's a perfectly round corner. This one's a little messed up, actually. And obviously, no card information on the bottom because that's where this is from the top card. Ooh. 2 alignment dots in the top left corner. That's fun to see. This card sold for $150. 150. Average non-error price, $305. EVI, 4,818%, which is good enough for number 6 this week. That's a nice one. Hey, let's keep the Miscuts rolling. You got it. Here we have a side Miscut. I don't have a clever name for that. A Flareon from Pokemon 151, sold for $60. Let's take a look. So alignment dot, we have a grass type Pokemon here on the left. And it's slightly wonky, meaning it's a little bit twisted because we can't see the other card right here, but we can see it right here. On the back, alignment dot, nice. And yeah, you can kind of see the inconsistency of the border too. We have a little bit thicker here and very, very thin, but we have that blue border all the way around. Now this Flareon sells for $1.24 when it's not a miscut. That gives us a 4,739% EVI, which is good enough for number 7 this week. Matt, let's just keep these miscuts rolling, alright? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? It's my show, I can do what I want. Next up, we have a first edition Aerodactyl from Fossil Set. This is a pre-release card, and this is kind of has that same miscut where it's thicker on the left, thinner on the right. Sold for $500. We have an alignment dot in the bottom left corner. Obviously a pre-release. Gorgeous card. 8.5 is a high grade. In the back, alignment dot. And yeah, added around $410 of value to the card. Not much more to say about that. I like it though. I do. As my friend George would say, we are beep, boppin', and scattin' right now. Here we have a Fighting Energy from base set. That's normal, isn't it? Not the back. Inverted miscut back. Sorry, inverted misaligned back. So you can see what it's supposed to look like, what it actually looks like. Sold for $45. And this bad boy is in the top 10 too. 3,388%. Good enough for number 9 this week. We're kind of a back-heavy top 10 this week. Now let's jump over to Fanatics Collect for this next one. Here we have a PSA 10 Dark Dragonite with the no hollow error. What is that? Right here should be 2282 because this is a non-hollow, but it's a 582. So a very valuable repeating error in a perfect Gem Mint 10 from PSA. Ooh, $3,600 in auction. That's a lot. I believe the first PSA 10 example I've seen sold in 58 weeks, if my memory serves me correctly. And we can see average non-error price for a PSA 10 is around $200. So it has a 1,728% error value increase, which is not top 10, but for a PSA 10 to have that high of an EVI, that's special. Let's take a moment. Okay, next card. Yeah, that's a neat one though. It's fun bopping over to Fanatics Collect and seeing what gets sold, because sometimes things sell for way under, but when you have kind of like a grail like this, it really does kind of reach its full potential for a sale. Next up, we have a no number Topsun Pikachu. With the no number error, essentially, you see Pikachu should have 025 here in the pink box there. That's missing. I've not seen this video. What does it look like? Boy, those borders are cool, or like the background of it. Pretty good shape aside for that one corner. It is interesting this background is not consistent, so you can have two of these Pikachus, and I don't know what these characters say, but it will be different, and they will be differently aligned too. But yeah, look at this. We have the different outlines of Pokemon on the back here. So these Topsun cards are really cool, and these no number cards, which is an error, are even cooler. This sold for $270, added $190 of value. I need to get some Topsun cards at some point. I think, just like anything, I want to get it where it's an error but not listed as an error. You know, that's what I'm all about, the cheap route. If you watch this show weekly, you'll know that we had the Topps error actually as the #1 card a few weeks ago. This one, if it would have sold for the listed price, I think it would have been #1, but it's not because the best accepted offer price was low enough where the EVI is not high enough. With all that being said though, this sold for $108.37. And let's take a look. So we have Golem 60% and Beedrill about 40%. So I put Golem as the non-error card because it's showing more. And on the back, oh, so they tried to get this graded with PSA, meaning it's miscut enough where it is not able to fit in PSA's slab, I believe. I thought it looked a little bit different. I thought that might have just been because of the angle of the photo, but a normal card might come just right to here. So this actually might be longer than a normal card, and that's why I can't get slabbed. Interesting. You can see the back, we have Golem on one side, Beedrill on the other. I always say Topps doesn't get the love it deserves. It's starting to get more love, which is cool to see because this is seriously such a big error for a Pokemon card. Arguably one of the biggest errors you can have for a Pokemon card. And it's a two for one. Oh boy, they have the... This kind of helps, not really though. If they would put it in the bottom, we could actually measure the distance. Did they? See, we don't know if that's exactly lined up with the 1 or not. Oh, they did. Okay. Pokemon cards are approximately 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So it is bigger. Look at that. So here's 3.5. So this was miscut enough where it shows even more of a card of each card. Interesting. That's bigger than I thought it would be. I think tops would be the same size as regular cards. Let me confirm that. Such random cards. Or we have a tops and a Meowth. So tops is just slightly bigger, but this is like even more bigger. Good English, Matt. Very interesting though. So actually props to the seller for doing this. Thank you. Makes my job easier. What's the width of that bad boy? Okay, so yeah, it's 2.5 by 3.5 typically. So I see why that wouldn't fit into that. CGC might grade it? I don't know. There's gotta be someone who could accommodate for that. I think CGC will actually grade ones and they'll actually put plastic holders so it'll keep it in place too. I think they are a little bit more custom with it. Have I said EVI for this yet? 4,235%. That's number 8. Yeah. Next up, we have a Shining Mewtwo PSA 6 example with a Hollow Shift. Sold for $550. Right here. Hollow Shift is shifted several millimeters. I'd say this is the bare minimum enough to actually recognize something as an error. You see some, especially with just the standard like base set cards, where the hollow foil is shifted like a millimeter or two, and someone's like, oh, is this an error? Technically, but not really enough for people to care. I think this is definitely the minimum. And how cool. We can see, so this is shifted up enough where this is actually touching the art box a little bit there. But unfortunately, really did not add that much. What's this background? Is this for like photographing things in like a light box? Must be. But yeah, unfortunately didn't add too much value. Added about $40 of value. You can see it's not severe enough. I could see this fetching a little bit more if you wait long enough, but this person probably wanted to sell it a little bit quicker. So accepted a little bit less of an offer. So really, so I'd say still a stunning card, just not a higher EVI worthy. That makes sense. Next up, we have a Lost Origins Giratina pack. And this is the red tape obstruction error. The red tape is used to signify to the workers that, hey, the roll's almost out. You better switch that bad boy so we don't get red tape everywhere, or you don't have any plastic at all. That'd be kind of interesting to ship out cards with no plastic, but yeah, these happen in just about every set, I would say, or they can happen, and always very cool to see. It sells for a lot, so we can see here just like a front and back are consistent, so that red tape was stretched all the way around when the Pokemon pack is folded. That's how it comes to be. Listed for $350, sold for $300, which is an EVI of 3,051%. So not top 10, but that's a lot of money for a pretty modern Pokemon card pack. Not bad at all. $290 of value added. Alright, this one threw me, this one confused me a little bit. It didn't confuse me, I'm just kind of shocked by it. Next up, we have a Latias Hollow from Delta Species, and this is a misalignment error. I don't know what language this is, so this isn't English, but we only have pricing for English cards, which is actually, I guess, not as in favor for this card, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So misalignment. So the front is messed up, the back is normal. We have a alignment dot in the bottom left corner and in the bottom right corner, and a very, very, very thin border on the top. And that back is normal. And card's in good shape too. So maybe that's why it sold for so much. Sold for 600 euros, which is $682. Considering the average non-error price is $12.61, that's a lot. Is this like a well-known set to not have errors? I know there were some that were kind of like a expedition, and other ones are kind of like really, it's shocking to see something be misaligned, so that could be the case for this. I mean, it's a gold border Pokemon too, I think that's cool, but yeah, that's a lot of money. But again, really good shape, and who are we to judge this person for spending a lot of money on a Pokemon card, because they got the money. So really, just a sublime card. It really is. So EVI, 5,311%. That's good enough for number 5 this week. Kind of an unexpected one, but yeah, it's got that fat bottom miscut. Oh, I didn't play the music. Play it for a second. Okay, good. Ooh, keep the music rolling. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Here we have a base set Ponyta with that fat bottom miscut. Sold for $30 in auction. Let's take a look. Alignment dot in the bottom right corner. Is it consistent? By golly, it really, really is. But no alignment dot. If we look really hard, still can't see it. That's alright though. Cul-de-sac miscut. Not in the best shape, but again shows the severity or the rarity of a miscut for this set. Yeah, that's a nice one. And that border is, the card's a little bit wonky too. You can see a little border right here and no border right here. Yeah, we can stop the music now, but that's a really cool one. I love my fat bottom miscuts, as you know. There's a whole song dedicated to it. Goodness gracious, we're on the final card. Haven't seen this bad boy in a while. Base set Beedrill with the D.E fending error. Listed for $250, sold for $200. What's the error? Right here, there is a rogue period in between the D and the E in defending. A very unique repeating error that helps it sell for a lot. And you can see, condition of the card, not the best, but this error don't care. It's so rare, sells for a lot. Didn't rhyme at the end, that's alright. Yeah, I love this one. I really would. My chances are very slim to get one of these errors when it's not listed as an error, because I think just about everyone knows about this one. Sometimes you'll find someone who doesn't, but it's rare enough to actually just find one of these in general, but then to find one not listed as an error is almost impossible. And what's fun about this is the average non-error price is $3.01. That gives us a 6,545% error value increase, which is good enough for number 1 this week. Now I want to give a little shout out to whoever made it to the end here. If you leave a comment, start your comment with your favorite Pokemon, and I'll know you made it to the end, and I'll love you even more than I love everyone else, which is a lot. Thank you for watching. This is a fun episode. I really enjoy filming those intros too. I know people probably skip through it or they think it's dumb, but I have a lot of fun with it. So just overall really enjoying the journey, and I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. Goodbye.